Welcome to Dad's DeFi Space. This is Kevin, and this is an important emergency live stream. I know many of you may or may not have had the best day. The market looks absolutely terrible, and I am feeling your pain. So let's just get right to it. First off and foremost, whatever your situation is, it's gonna be okay. I promise you it will be okay. I've been in this market for multiple years, and this being my second cycle. And I feel like I've seen it all, and it's put 10 years on my life. So you were liquidated if you're stressing it right now. Number one, you invested too much, more than you can afford to lose, which we've talked about many times on this channel. And we need to learn from our mistakes to become better investors. But anyway, I'm going to go on a rant, so I don't want to go down that route today. But right now, we're just taking a look at the absolutely decimated altcoin market. TAO down 16%, AERO 11, ADA 6 on the day, Stacks 5, Pendle 3, Virtual 6. It looks like a bloodbath. If I was to take a look at the top 100, it's not going to look all that much better. You have a few outliers, although what the heck is up with ICP, right? And yes, we are not invested in ICP, but up 50% on the day. Wow. Okay. Anyway, I want to get talking to what's going on and what we can do. First, we're going to take a look at the charts. But before that, please like and subscribe. Share this with anyone out there who would benefit from a little bit of crypto and DeFi knowledge. But we're going to look at our DeFi lending positions today. We're going to take a look at some liquidity pools. We're going to deleverage. I'm going to show you how I would go about that process. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and if I can pull up the chat, we can look at some altcoin charts today also. But first, let's move over to TradingView and CoinGlass. Actually, I don't want this one. None of the bull market indicators are hitting. I don't think we need to look at this one today, of course. All right. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin exchange liquidation map, right? And see what we're looking at. Oh my gosh. That looks pretty big. So if we get back up, honestly, that's not all that big. What, 282 million? It's a lot, but I've seen more, right? Most of the upper level liquidation on the daily was wiped out. Also at the lower level, let's check the weekly. Ooh, there we go. So people are starting to go short. If we get back up to, what is that, 1087, you're looking at $1.45 billion of liquidations. And right here, 2.35 if we get back up to 111. I am not going short in the market right now. I'll tell you that much. I am not going short the market right now. Of course, nothing in this video is financial advice, only my opinion. And I'm just a dad who likes to play around in the crypto space on the charts and base network and DeFi and a lot of other stuff. Okay, let's take a look at the charts, see how we're doing today. I think we all know. All right. All right. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin. And just to see how weak we're truly looking, let me take this average true range off and the Bollinger Bands and put back on our good old bull market support band. Oh, do you see this? Oh my gosh. Ugh. That right there. Excuse me, that right there is a dump. The bull market support band sitting right at 111.5, which is definitely one of our liquidity ranges that we just looked at on the liquidation heat map. Since we broke the bull market support band, hold on, let me go on the dailies. We have literally dropped around 10% below the bull market support band. This is extremely bearish. I think also everybody was correct about Bitcoin dominance, because what's happening, Bitcoin dominance has gone up, 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 up. But there's obviously blood in the streets. So we're going to put another indicator on our chart. What? Hold on one second. I didn't really want to just search my favorites. Hold on one second. All right, now let's try it. 50 week. All right. Well, actually, this one will be a good one, actually. Yeah. I just put up death cross on chart. Alrighty. So if you take a look, right, on the weekly chart specifically, you can see we're below the bull market support band. Do you all see this green line right here? This green line that right now is basically sitting at 102,962. That is the 50-week EMA. And historically speaking, when the 50-week is lost with volume and lost on the weekly, we got to zoom out to really get the big picture here, right? I don't need this. But if we don't get back above this 50-week moving average by the end of the week and close below it, I'll throw in the towel and say the bull market is over. The second weekly close below this would, to me, again, not financial advice, would be an end to the crypto bull run of 2025. So how can we play this? How will I play this? Well, we're going to be marking, and we already have it marked on our chart, right? 98K. If we break below this, I'm out on the weekly. If we don't gain strength back above the 50-week right here, let me go on a slightly shorter time frame, right? Or below it on a shorter time frame. But if we cannot get back above here, it may be time to completely de-risk. But right now, market conditions are so bearish. I have not seen the market sentiment on crypto Twitter, on YouTube, in the comment sections, Telegram groups I'm in. I have not seen it this bearish since we took Bitcoin and Ethereum positions back around $23,000 to $30,000 Bitcoin. When you build your portfolio within the bear, you will stress much, much, much less in the bull. But little glimmer of hope, Ian. It's not quite over yet. First and foremost, as we've already said, we got to get back above this 50-week. If Bitcoin can start sometime in the next few days showing some strength back above this 50-week, maybe we can continue the bull. But this very much could change our projections, especially if you still believe in the 4-year cycle. Because if you believe in the 4-year cycle, there's not much time left. We can still have a pump into the end of the year and still honor that 4-year cycle theory. And that could be a possibility. So the 50-week is going to probably move down even more. Okay. But let's say Bitcoin over the next week, being right here. Hold on one second. What if Bitcoin moves down, back up above the 50-week, hitting resistance, moving back down into that 50-week moving average? And continues on. If that is to happen, my profit target is going to be that low fib. As of right now, watch. If you run the fibs for the entire market cycle, I'm not going to do both of them, but this is the extension. Depending on how low we go here, let's just measure it from where we are right now. Look, that puts our 0.38. That's our 0.38 level right above $140,000. Kind of changes some of my little bit of projections here, because that puts the 0.23 right at the top or the all-time high, and then the 0.38. And I'm making adjustments to some of my lines here based off what's happened, and I'll make more adjustments if we drop lower. 0.5 level, and the 0.5 is sitting at right around 153, almost 154,000. So we could still make our way up and have a lower high and then a breakdown. We could make our way up and regain support above the 50-week, reclaim at the bull market support band, continue on and end somewhere between 126, the all-time high, and 53,000 at most, although I would be heavily profit taking around 130 to 140 if that were to happen. Or there could be a second story, another scenario, and that scenario could be completely different. Oop, hold up. That is not what I wanted to do. That scenario could see us not getting back above this 50-week moving average. Let me change the color on my sloppy drawings. Yeah, it's in the middle of it right now. Anyway, let's say we have a candle and break below the 50-week. The next, our next kind of area confluence down is going to be right around $84,000. You have another small pocket area on the weekly sitting right around, you could say, between 75 and 78K. And then you're looking at 68, 55. And that would be your bear market. Dad's recommendation, or no, excuse me, not financial advice, of course, but my plan is to have a plan for both scenarios. So if Bitcoin is breaking below $98,000 and the 50-week is shown to be resistance, then I'm definitely going to be looking for a ton of shorts in the market. But not looking for shorts yet, because what if today and yesterday, this is the capitulation before the final parabolic push at the end of this bull market that runs maybe into a Santa Claus rally, topping Bitcoin at 128, 130, something, maybe even 140, 150 if we're lucky. But now I think many of you can see like the cycle, the people who were telling you Bitcoin to 250K, Ethereum to 15,000. Just something to think about. Now, I wanted to also take a look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. We are getting back down, and I'm going to try to extend this out a little farther for you. Whoops. Hold on, I didn't mean to shift the whole dang thing because now my alignment's off. Let's see if I can get out a little more here. Hold on 1 second. I messed my chart up. There we go. Yeah, close enough. You'll get the idea. I shifted my entire channel, but it's just an estimate, okay? All right. So if we zoom in, you can see right here how a couple things we marked on the chart. We marked right here, possible capitulation. This was from earlier, and you can see the big wick down. Gosh, I haven't put this chart up in a little bit, actually. And what do you notice? You notice that we have wicked down on the weekly back into our downtrend channel. If we go on the daily, we're even deeper into it. Now, we could correct and go right back out of it. That is true. But if we are not getting out of this, I'm going to be watching on the mid-range around 0.025 level for Ethereum Bitcoin. If we're to get down there, that is where I'll start picking up. But right now, we're holding. Bitcoin dominance is showing this ridiculous amount of strength. And I hope that over the last few months, you have taken some profits. We have, but we also redeployed way too much capital. And that brings me to altcoins, especially this one. Sway has broken not just way down our breakdown range, as you can see, but it's breaking below our lower range when I first started entering into SUI. This one has shown so much bearishness over the last bit. And what we're going to be doing now is I'm going to show you when the downtrend hits, how we can deleverage any lending positions. Now, I'm not going to do a full deleveraging right now because I would not sell off all these assets when the prices dip down this much. But if this is truly the end of the bull, which would have been back in October, the beginning of October, then you need to be sure with that confirmation below the 50-week, I got to position myself now for the bear market. And that means converting a ton of my crypto assets back into Bitcoin and stables. We're going to be putting out a portfolio allocation video really soon. And we're also going to be putting out one on our creator coin, which I think that meta could possibly survive. Creating some alpha tokens on the base blockchain, but that'll be a video for another day. Let's take a look at TAO, which is broken below 390. If you take a look at our previous fib levels, we wicked right into right here. I got to zoom out, which would be our 0.5 or our 50% level. If we break below this area that you can see I'm marking with my mouse, we're probably going to revisit way lower, back down around 330 or even as low as 300. And I'm super bullish on TAO. But if the conditions aren't there, it's not going to happen. I don't want to leave you all sounding so bearish, but we do need to be prepared if this is the end. But right now, my base case until we confirm below the 50-week is there's one final phase to the bull market. Let me move over here real quick and just check and see if we have any of this going on. So be patient and I will be right back. We're going to then take a look at some of these DeFi lending positions. I can work with that. All right. First, we're going to be taking a look at Aave. I'm really concerned actually about this one right here. So let's take a look at our Avalanche. And we are still almost healthy at 1.2. That's not very good right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to repay. I hate doing this, but we got to make our account safe. You always want to make sure that your health factor never goes to 1 or lower, or you're going risk being liquidated. I went to the health factor. You can see this loan is extremely unhealthy. I'm at 60% loan to value, and the upper range is 68. I am at risk of being liquidated here. So what we have to do is we're going to go to our VFAT portfolio, which if you're a member of our Telegram group, you've seen these positions. Many of them are going to more than likely be out of range with all this volatility. Yep, I only have one within range right now. And it's a syrup position that I was just testing. So we're earning 0 yield right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to be taking out some of our more riskier positions. That right now would be our Zora position right here, which isn't really that far out of range. And we're going to withdraw a little bit of that position. So I'm going to withdraw some of that good old Zora, USDC, convert it back down to Ethereum. Right now, we're switching to the base network. I'm going to wait just a second so I can approve my transaction. Oh, no, that's not good. So there is a possibility with some of these positions. You'll suffer some slippage. I have to raise my slippage percentage. I don't really like going above 1%, but so we'll keep it at 1, and hopefully we're going to liquidate out half the position to ETH. And once this is complete, we'll be able to pay down some of our loans. All right. So we're going to sign the transaction. Oh, gosh, that one's not working very well, is it? All right, so we're probably going to have to pull a little bit out of our master ETH position. Sometimes the liquidity is not there. It's best to wait to where there's a little bit more liquidity, and then you can make the withdrawal, rebalance, or whatever you may or may not need to do for that position. We're going to pull out 100. That right there will give us some capital that we can add to Aave. Okay. Then I want to go and take a little bit out of this AVAX position. It's out of range anyway, so we're just going to remove the majority of it. This is an AVAX black position. I leave a little bit in because if we move back up, it'll go back into the range, and maybe I'll add some more capital into that one. I'm going to sign the transaction. Okay. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to Aave. Okay. And we're going to add, hold on. We're going to add some of those assets into our positions. Okay, so first and foremost, do you notice something? How this deposit, it looks like it's almost at max again. So that could be a slight issue with what we've done. This one's not wanting to withdraw. So hold on one second. We're going to just exit to USDC because we'll pay the position with this. Okay, it looks like it finally withdrew. All right, so let's see if this works now. Sometimes I like to disconnect, reconnect my wallet, so it'll reread everything. And then what we'll do is we'll pay down our loans. It's super simple too. All right, so we're going to repay this. I'm going to just use some of my AVAX actually. And hopefully this transaction will go right through. We'll see. And then all I have to do is click repay, confirm and sign. And then my health vector goes up a little bit. Now, next, we'll have to pay some of this with the Bitcoin. Repay. Coin, I'm doing this. But again, you don't want to do too much all at once. Slowly we're making our way back up. Then I have some AVAX I can actually add to it, but we're going to just swap repaying. I love Aave for this because you can just repay with some of your collateral, which just speeds up the process, you know. I don't like to do too much at once because it does get some slippage, so we'll do like $150 at a time, see how that works. And then once I get this back up a little bit, close to the 2.0 range, I probably would call it quits, just leave it as is for now. I might even consider adding to it if the market turns bullish again. But in these kind of situations, and it looks like we're having a little bit of slippage with this. But I have to get off the stream, and I want to end with this. Look, if we don't reclaim the 50-week in the bull market support band, we got to chop it up as a loss. The market is over. But if we can regain support above the 50-week, sitting around, what was that, 103.67? I hate that. But I've been hearing it so much around the neighborhood. Just don't sell. I am personally not selling out just yet. But if these moving averages confirm, then I am out. Although those influencers and those people out in the space that have already sold out, some of them, you know, that may be the right call. If you bought the bottom of the range, you've already secured some profits. I have already secured some profits way earlier this cycle. But there's also ways that we can make profits during the bear. In fact, the majority of big profits in this space is made during a bear market. And who knows? We could have a short bear moving into 2026 or 2026 and have maybe even a secondary explosion. But I'll tell you this. The last couple of cycles I saw this, it was almost like an immediate rotation into other asset classes after crypto crashed. It was like crypto crashed, but then real estate had its last hurrah, and then the stock market had its last hurrah, and then the bear market destroys everybody. The thing is I want to follow all of those markets so I can help my family better achieve financial freedom, and we can make our own choices within our lives. But stay strong out there. De-risk if needed. It's okay to take profits and sell. It's okay to sell even if the profits aren't there. Live to trade and invest another day. But a lot of us aren't tactical. Pride hurts our decisions. Emotions hurt our decisions. And sometimes once that decision is made, the best thing we can do is step away and touch grass. Or I'll get a little bit of a shameless plug here at the end, and you can always go find us over on Zora. We are also now officially on the Base app, which I like it, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Obviously, since our coins paired with Zora, it's been on a downtrend, but for the most part, we've been sitting the same since October 24th. If you pull it up on Dex Screener, there's probably been a few people selling off today, I would assume. Just taking a look at the dad's DeFi space creator token. Look at that. Yeah, a little bit right here and right here. There were some sells, all pretty small. Less than $6 or $7. We got a tiny market cap, but we plan on building this up, and profits are going to be moved back into the creator coin. So any of the profits we make, as far as trading fees and things like that, are going right back into dad's DeFi space. I like this. It's kind of neat. And I think this is how Coinbase wants to onboard everybody to the blockchain. So stay strong out there. This is why education is so important. So if you want to check that out, check out dadsdefispace.org. If you support our cause and you support our mission, like and subscribe, ping that notification bell, and check out all of our affiliate links below. It helps to support our cause also. Or join us over on Base and buy some of our posts. I'm just kidding. But take care, touch some grass. It's gonna be okay. Till next time. Peace.